Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays and welcome back to the channel. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. Obviously, I receive so many OP replays. Some of them, or quite a few of them actually, are not always wins. Some of them are a loss. We're going to watch two replays for you today. Now, spoiler alert, they are both losses, but we're going to talk through the battle and we're going to see if there was anything that the guy could have done to change the outcome of the game. So we're going to pretty much review his replay. This one, I believe, without even looking, I believe it is the newbie matchmaking, because we're getting all the signs, all the tips at the side of the battle, which I like. I like that from Wargaming. But having the tips in tier 10, it shouldn't be needed. You shouldn't get all the way to tier 10 and still getting these little tips on the side of what to do. Yeah, that's a big no-no. It shouldn't get to that. I think that should stop at like tier 8 or tier 7. Once you get to tier 10, you shouldn't be needing these little tips. So we're going to have a look. I believe it is a reroll. He does good amount of damage, and we just want to have a look at if there is anything that this guy could have done to change the outcome of the game. Some games, there is nothing you could really do. The only thing you could do is just give it your all. They may have gave it their all, but there was just too much to do, and the team around just did not support. So you can see, we're just going to have a little pause here at the minute. You can see now, up there is the T92E1, a T62A, and on the enemy team, there's the Progetto, and there is the Centurion. Now, looking at his team, there is a Waffle pushing up there as well. And if we look around, we've got the Leopard PTA, which looks to be AFK. This side of the map, you've got the IS-8 and the Motion. So he has decided to park up in the middle here. Now, that's a good choice. It is a good choice, not going when you've got sort of two mediums and a light tank. Going probably either the middle just to see where the team goes, and then deciding what you want to do. Now, what he's decided to do is go to the right side, but as you can see, there is now a mill and there is a tank that is gone. The T62A is gone, but the T92, he's just about dead, and the Waffle will be left on his own. So there's 4 red tanks around there now. So is it a good choice for him now to go around this area? There goes the T92E1. So is it good to go around this area, or should he be going around that area where now the majority of his team is? So first up, he is going to try and deal with the Progetto, who's not much he can really do when he's in the middle there, and you can see the Centurion is a one shot. So I believe at the moment he's actually doing all right. He's doing as what he can, and at the minute there is really no right or wrong. Of course, if he goes to the left side, then the Waffle will be on his own, and there goes the IS-8 on, but it's now a 4 versus 6. So already there is not really too much you could do where your team just absolutely vanishes. The Centurion is going up there now he gets that shot on the Centurion, with the Progetto dropping down as well, and the Waffle is there to try and deal with him. He's now a one shot. The Centurion is a one shot, and of course the Emil is up there. Now the Yo is a much more OP tank than the Emil. So again, I was literally just about to say now he needs to start pushing, and he does exactly that. Now he's going to stay down. You can see all the tanks are now down. There goes the Waffle, but he does take out the Progetto. He does have the Leopard next to him. I think again he's AFK. I think he's connection or some sort, and he does get a shot into the Emil. So he's just backing up while he's on the reload, which again is a good choice, but it's a 3 versus 5 now. I mean, all these tanks around here, the Motion is trying to deal with the E100, but again the E100 is probably going to take him out. So he actually needs to take care of these guys as soon as possible, preferably before the E100 can take out the Motion. So he's going to go for the Centurion. That was a beautiful shot there on the Centurion. Now I would reload, which is exactly what he's done because he had no shots, and he's literally at the moment he's doing everything that I would recommend to do. But of course, when you're in the battle, it's not as easy as watching it. back. When you're watching it back, yeah, of course you could sit there and say, okay, I should have done this, should have done that. But when you're actually in the battle, it's not as easy to do what we're saying. So he gets a nice shot there on the Emil. And again, unfortunately, because of this freaking leopard as AFK, if this leopard wasn't AFK, he'd be able to take him out. But it's just him and this AFK now versus 4 tanks. So he's actually dropped down into this into this water to hide from the other tanks around. And now people are shooting the AFK, which could be the wrong decision to make. So he's going to go for that shot. He's going to go for the shot on the Jagdtiger, but he has to remember there are 2 tanks coming from this direction. So at this point, because there's 2 tanks coming in this direction, I would honestly drop down. I would try and get around the Jagdtiger on the floor, not so much on here, because as you can see now, he is in the open and he is getting shot, and there's nowhere he can go. Absolutely nowhere he can go. And now he's just getting shot from the left, from in front of him, and there is an E100 somewhere. So I would have risked taking a few shots, maybe 1 or 2 shots from the Jagdtiger, but as long as you can get around him, then you can literally just stay around him. You've got buildings down there as well, so there really is not much the Jagdtiger could have done apart from getting the first shot, and he wouldn't have even got that first shot either because he was focusing on the leopard. So I would have stuck down. I would have stuck down there, used the buildings if I'd have had to go around, maybe risk taking. You might have taken 2 shots from this Jagdtiger and you should have been able to clear. So what he's doing now is the correct decision. He is hiding from the E75. He is blocking shots as well. Let's not take away the fact that he is blocking quite a few shots, and he finally takes out the Jagdtiger. So he's on now 7,600 damage. He's on 2.8k block damage, and there is still a full hit point E100 to deal with and a 1-shot. I think it's a 1-shot E75. So I know there's only a minute left on the clock. There is not a lot on the clock at all. So he really wants to take care of this E75, which he is now there. So he's now decided to come out in the open. He is going to get the E75 gone, and here comes the E100. Don't know how he got all the way around there, but again, at this point in the game, I mean, that's a lot of hit points. I don't know why he decided to go here. I would have just carried on going around. I would have just carried on going around there. Maybe he could have used the building to side scrape or drop down, and if he would have dropped down, the E100 would follow him, and he may have been able to do something that he can't do in this position. Going to this corner is literally just asking for to be taken out, because there's nothing. Once you're in that corner, there is nothing you can do. But nevertheless, still 9,100 damage. Could it have been a win? I mean, it was very difficult from the start. From having an AFK, he could have probably done a bit more damage, and I honestly reckon if he would have dropped down with the Jagdtiger at the start, then that game could have most definitely been a win. So next up, we are watching the AMX 50B, and it is Shiro Fox. Now this game, I have watched this game, and there are a few decisions that he makes that contributes to the loss. Now, if you guys are watching this, I'm not having a go at you. I'm not having a go at you. It's not your fault. You've done amazing work. You did a great job in getting the damage you've done and getting so close to this win. Of course, most of it is your team, the team around you. But you have to remember, if you're a decent player, you've got to bear in mind that your team might not be good, and you might have to do something extra special to carry the team. If you're competent, you can't rely on your team, because you don't know if they're competent, you don't know if they're good, you don't know if they're bad. So you have to bear that in mind when you are playing your battle. Now, there is a couple of things Shiro could have done here in this game that definitely would have changed the outcome of the game. So of course, straight up, he's going for the mouse. Fair enough, he's in the mouse, he's going for the mouse is in the open, so getting those shots off is pretty decent. Now, at the start of this game, there is now an IS-4 here. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the IS-4 is angled a bit. Don't ever be afraid, guys. Don't ever be afraid to use Pramo. Don't ever be afraid to use the APCR. If you think you need APCR, use APCR. Like, even if you can penetrate with AP, but you think, you know what, I want to guarantee the pen, and yes, I'm going to do a little bit less damage, but at least I'm going to pen. And that's exactly what he should have done there with the IS-4. He can't see the weak points because it's hidden. So if you can't see a weak point, even if you know it's there, I would just switch to the APCR. Try and guarantee the pen, because out of the 3 shots, he only penetrated 1 of them. So he could have dealt with the IS-4. He could have done a lot more damage to the IS-4 than he did. So going for this mouse here, I'm not sure why he just didn't switch to APCR there, take the shot. But he's backing up, and he's wasted a lot of time there when he could have actually taken the mouse out, what, 5 to 10 seconds sooner. But he still took him out. It's still okay. He still took him out. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit sour. His team are with him. I mean, you can see his team are all around. You have the Death Star there, you have the E100 there. There is a few tanks around. So he's now actually going to push this Tortoise. The IS-4 is over there. Not too much. He's not looking at him. He's not too dangerous. He's in a position where if he can get around here, then the IS-4 is nothing. Now, he does get a bit of help clearing the Tortoise. Now, this is another mistake here. Now, there's a few tanks here in the middle. You can see the E75, the VK, there's a waffle somewhere, but also the IS-4. Like, he's forgetting about the IS-4. Now, I don't know why he's forgetting about the IS-4. The IS-4 is all on his own. He's isolated. Yes, we know that there is the waffle. We know that there's a waffle, most likely in the position sort of up there. But I'm not sure why he's not helping his team now deal with this IS-4. You can see if you turn, just got to wait for him to shoot. The VK is not an easy tank to deal with. Not an easy tank. And again, we're going to see it here. He's going to use AP into the bottom plate when we can really see at that angle it's very difficult to pen. But there is 2 tanks over here. There is 2 tanks. If he would have been here instead of going for this VK, then they would have taken out that IS-4 a lot sooner, and these 2 guys would have so many more hit points left. But instead he just kind of forgot about the IS-4, kind of left him. And yes, he is dead now, but look at there. I mean, they're both one-shots now. They're both one-shots, and with the camping waffle up there, the waffle's done a bit of damage to these guys. So yes, they may have taken a few shots from the waffle, but they would have cleared the IS-4 a lot sooner, and they would have a lot more hit points than they have currently got. But nevertheless, he's still done a fantastic job. But for me, the vital change in this game, the vital decision, was ignoring that IS-4 to go for the VK, especially as the VK is looking at you. You've got the strongest part of the armor, whereas if you would have just rushed this IS-4, you would have, with a clipper as well, and there's an E100, they would have cleared this IS-4 in seconds. So the waffle probably would have only had time to maybe fire once. So that was definitely a big mistake there. Definitely a big mistake. But nevertheless, he's doing the damage. It's a 1 versus 2, but there is still a full hit point waffle, and there's still pretty much a full hit point E75 to deal with. And when you're in a clipper like the AMX-50B, you can get the damage out when you're clipping, but when you're on that reload, you're on a 20-odd second reload, and when you've got a waffle behind you and an E75 in front of you, there is only so much you can do. So now he's just circling the C75. I think he basically knows it's kind of game over, because any moment now the waffle is going to come behind, somehow misses the shot. He's going to get around now, and now he should just about have time to get the magazine out. So there's 1 shot, there's 2 shots. Is he going to manage to get the 3rd shot off? No, he isn't. So a vital error there on his behalf. That was definitely his fault. Whether it could have been a win or not, we never know. We're never going to know. But I think it could have easily been a win if he would have just helped his 2 other teammates going for that IS-4 and leaving that VK. But nevertheless, a fantastic battle. 8,300 damage and a really good game. So it doesn't help people like the E75 having a half a shot, the T30 having 0, the E100 having 1 shot. So yeah, that doesn't help. That didn't help, but definitely could have been a win if he would have just focused the IS-4. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope this helps you in some way or another, making them decisions, the right decisions, and realizing what you did wrong. Sometimes when you have a battle and you do really, really well, go watch it back. If you lose, go watch it back, because yes, your team could have done better, but if you watch it back, you would also see then, okay, yeah, I could have done this or I could have done that. Honestly, guys, it does help. Go do it. Go watch a replay back of yours, and then you can see what you could have done differently. So I hope that helps. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.